Happy New Year! Today I've got a bunch of meetings to get to, but before we get to all that, let me just grab some coffee, because I wake up way too late. Now let's go. Alright, that's it for the meetings today. Nothing too particularly interesting, but let's move over a little bit, sit down and talk about why am I even doing this? What's the point of all this? So as you may know, I run Fair, which is a startup in kind of the fintech space, cross-section with edtech. What we're essentially doing is financial education that's applied. So, you can think like Duolingo, or you can think Free Code Camp, what they do for languages and coding, but for finance. And we want to have that all be free. And then we're building an ethical brokerage to kind of provide a space for retail investors in the EU to really have kind of a place to invest in. Now, the point of this vlog, or whatever you want to call it, I'm actually not sure what I'm going to end up calling it. I was thinking something like, the CEO's Journal or something, because all the ideas I came up with are already a thing, which is fucking great, of course. But basically, I just took an interruption of study, a few weeks ago, and I'm now going full-time on Fair. Now, what this means for us, given the stage we're in, is we need to fundraise. And in order to do that, I'm going to need to travel a bunch, the whole fundraising cycle, the way that works. So I figured, wouldn't it be really cool to document that? Both because who's really seen some content like that? Like, wouldn't it be cool if Fair one day became quite successful to be able to kind of watch this back and be like, oh, that's how the company got started? Or alternatively, actually, give me a second, those fireworks are quite loud. Okay, that's those over. But basically, alternatively, if nothing comes of it, it will be kind of cool for me to kind of look back all this in a long time. So I figured, why not try to document, the whole process of the next 3 months of traveling, taking meetings, fundraising, and all that, and just put it out there. If it interests some people, great. If it doesn't, well, then I can at least look back at it. Now, for those of you who might not know, how does fundraising work, or what the exact process is like, let me talk about roughly the stage we're in. We've been around since January, and so we've been running for about a year. We've got a team of about 30 people. We're just about to be launching our product. And since one of the things we need to develop is the brokerage, that is something that's very expensive. Generally, trying to scale a lot can be quite expensive, especially given we want our education to be free. So the standard process of many startups take is raise money from investors. Now, typically, these investors are, either really rich people who kind of have money from other startups or for shit they did before. Or alternatively, there's venture capitalists, which basically raise money from a bunch of rich people and then invest them into startups. Now, at the end of the day, the way this works is they invest into a bunch of businesses. Some do super well, Instagram, Airbnb, and the types. And some just end up failing. By them having, they're investing in a bunch of different ones, those few that do super well end up making a bunch of money for them. So that's why they would do it. As a startup, you do it for growth, because there's things you can't afford. Because, I'm a student. I don't exactly have, anything in my pockets right now, but definitely not $5 million to kind of run Fair into our next stage. So what I'm going to be doing over the next 3 months is basically fundraising, which means a ton of investor meetings, a ton of preparing the company for that, making sure we're all good, and of course tons of travel, because now that COVID's a bit died down, a lot of these meetings are going back in person. So I'm going to be traveling around Europe and the US to get this deal closed. So if that sounds like something that's quite interesting to you, why don't you follow along in, for now I'm calling Founders Journal. We'll see whatever it ends up being called down the line. Because I think it could be quite interesting, and especially if we fail, it could be a really cool learning opportunity. And if we do succeed, well, there's an audience built in, right? I'm sure everyone would like to see how Facebook started, how Instagram started, how any other company started. So this is basically kind of an inside look into what a part of this journey was like. Now, we do podcasts and all this other stuff and live streams, but we do talk a lot about stuff like our financial models, our business plans, and all these things. So I think this could be a very interesting kind of accompaniment to that, because one of our core values is transparency. So you want really everyone to be kind of have that access, see how things work, and they can learn from it. They can kind of give us feedback from it, and many other ways. So with that, thank you very much. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, and I'll see you when I get home. All right. So I just got home. It's about 2 a.m. I originally planned to get a bit more work done, but everyone's sleeping,